Thank you for being a Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, well, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. 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 If it's a car you lack, I'd surely buy you a Cadillac. Whatever you need, any time of the day or night. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? And when we both get older, with walking canes and hair of gray, have no fear, even though it's hard to hear. I will stand real close and say thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Let me tell you about a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. And when we die and float away into the night, the Milky Way, you'll hear me call as we ascend. I'll sing again, then once again. Thank you for being a Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank
seated. Welcome to the class of 2023 nursing pinning and nursing graduates. It's truly an honor to welcome you this morning. And before we begin, I just want to say congratulations to our nursing graduates. We had the fabulous nursing faculty, your fearless leader, Lauren Hayward, and our distinguished guests. But before we get started, Dr. Robert Sandel would like to say a few words.
Good morning to all, and good morning to the graduates. 2 years, it's happened, exciting day, and I want to say something to the parents, spouses, friends, significant others. You've gone through as much a challenge as these students have, and it's been a long, arduous process, but today has come to fruition, so I'm very proud of everybody, especially Cassie Nicholas. Cassie, very proud of you, and the other groups. I just want all the friends of the graduates to know that the RN program is one of our 3 top programs at Virginia Western. It's one of our premier programs. It's one of our toughest programs. And so when folks graduate from the RN program, it's quite an achievement, and they have quite a career before them. You will be taking care of all of us, and we're proud of that. So everybody have a great day. I don't want to say too much more. I'm excited for all the graduates, excited for all the friends of the graduates, and make it a special day for everybody. Thank you very much.
Good morning again. My name is Lauren Hayward. I direct the nursing program, and it's my joy and honor to be a part of the pinning ceremony again this year for the class of 2023. So the very special welcome goes to our guests, our family, friends, the faculty, program partners, and of course our community members. Thank you, as all of your collective effort is what makes a nursing program possible. So what are we doing here today? Why a pinning ceremony, and what does it all mean? The purpose of the pinning ceremony is to honor the accomplishment of the nurse graduate and all those who contributed to the process of creating the new nurse. It symbolizes the transition of the student nurse into the nursing profession. This procession that you just saw of graduates is led by faculty. At the conclusion of our ceremony today, the graduates will lead the faculty out. This is signifying the crossover from student to a member as a nursing peer. So let me just reintroduce myself. After today, I am no longer Ms. Hayward, I am Lauren. Please call me by my first name as a peer. The actual pen that is received today was designed by nurse graduates about 10 years ago, and each pen received today is gifted to the class of 23 from the class of 22. This is fulfilling a long tradition of one class serving and contributing to the success of another. The penning ceremony today is student-led and planned through the nursing club leaders known as our executive board. These women have sacrificed countless personal hours to serve their peers, the community, fundraise, and plan for this event. We want to recognize their efforts and also say a special thanks to the class of 22 leadership team who's here today to assist. The tradition of the nursing pen in the ceremonial penning originated in 1860, and it was started at the Nightingale School of Nursing at St. Thomas Hospital in London, England. Having been recently awarded the Red Cross of St. George for her selfless service to the injured and dying in the Crimean War, Florence Nightingale chose to extend this honor to her most outstanding nurse graduates by presenting each of them with a medal or a pin signifying excellence. So what have our graduates done to earn this very same type of pen? Well, they have completed a nursing program of study that has 65 credits, 11 nursing courses, 8 general education courses, 535 clinical hours, almost weekly examinations, and they have answered between 10,000 and 15,000 NCLEX-style questions just to sit here today. And they did this with at least 1 year well into the COVID-19 pandemic, where we hadn't seen much of their faces because they were behind masks. They have practiced everything you can think of for mitigation to make sure that virus doesn't spread. They have been vaccinated, they have been boosted, they have been tested, and they have been tried. And yet they sit here and they smile. So how do they do that? Patience, resilience, supportive family, friends, co-workers, our clinical partners, and our community. We thank you for being their cheerleader and supporting this very long journey. The penning ceremony also celebrates you. And many of you will actually pen your graduate in a gesture that symbolizes the joint effort to complete this journey together. A special thank you to our college donors, those who have offered financial support and scholarship funds that made nursing possible for many in our graduating class. And last but not least, I must thank the faculty. My team that works tirelessly to teach, remediate, plan, evaluate every nursing student that they may succeed. Their work is never, ever, ever done. And they never actually leave nursing school. Thank you for encouraging and shaping the next generation of nurses. They are my dearest friends, my choice colleagues. They care deeply for you and me, and their commitment to each other, this team, and the mission to create new nurses for our service region. Now, let's get on with our program. We will follow it. If you have this blue copy, we will follow what is in the program. And next up, we have our student speakers, Ms. Amy Dickinson, who is also our class president. Amy.
Well, class, we have just finished the longest shift of our lives here at Virginia Western. And if there's anything a good nurse knows the value of, it's charting and documenting. So let's document the last 2 years of our lives. On our first day of nursing school orientation, we were all strangers, both equally scared and excited. We then went to our first class, and most of us had no idea what we had gotten ourselves into. Together, we survived our first exam, where every question had 4 correct answers, and yet somehow we still chose the wrong one. Now, remember, if given the choice, the answer is always airway, breathing, circulation, green leafy vegetables, massage the fundus, raise the head of the bed, or say, tell me more about that. Now, I feel confident that I can diagnose this entire cohort with the diagnosis of fatigue, anxiety, and stress overload related to sleep pattern disturbance, impaired social interaction, and imbalanced nutrition as evidenced by the bags that remain under our eyes. We made it to the notorious med-surg clinicals where we lost sleep, weight, friends, and possibly some sanity. We learned at the Bradley Free Clinic and Rescue Mission how incredibly blessed we are and that serving our community is an investment that never returns void. We learned in pediatrics that children are not just tiny adults and they decompensate far quicker than adults. In OB, we witnessed the miracle of life, but more importantly, we learned to push through the pain. Since day one, we genuinely have supported each other. Whether it was by nudging each other awake during the 4-hour lectures, bringing candy in before a Kaplan exam, organizing study groups, rejoicing together after every exam, reaching out to those that we saw struggling, celebrating each other after our first successful IV or catheter insertion. We found our individual tribes within this cohort, and like any successful marriage, we learned that if I had a strength and my partner had a weakness, we learned to balance each one of those. It was a beautiful ebb and flow of trust, vulnerability, and friendship. Looking back, it's hard to believe how far we've come. I remember coming home after our first Nursing 100 class and curling up in my bed in the fetal position and sobbing. And believe it or not, it wasn't because of Miss Smith. I wanted to quit. I was absolutely overwhelmed. What was I thinking? At the time, I was 42 years old. I was a single mom to 3 young kids, and I was working, and if we're being honest, looking out at my cohort, the last time I had been in college, most of you were in elementary school. And in that dark moment, I reflected back to about 10 years prior to that, when my girls were just little, and I voiced my desire to go to nursing school. And I was told every reason why I couldn't. But what stuck out to me was that I was told, Amy, you're just not smart enough to be a nurse. And I remembered that, and I believed it. I was terrified of failure. So in that dark moment, I opened my eyes, and I saw a sign on my bedroom wall that I had bought during my divorce to encourage me in these dark moments. And it reads, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." I promised my kids I wouldn't cry. Sorry. Now, you may not believe in God or have a relationship with him, but I do. And I knew then if I could look up, I could get up. Because I had little people watching. I couldn't fail. And I wanted to show them, no matter what your age, no matter what your circumstance, if you try hard enough, you put your mind to it, you can succeed. Because that's courage. Courage is marching toward the thing you fear the most and doing it. Each and every one of us has a calling on our lives. You may call it your fate or your destiny, but I believe that God calls us into different vocations. For some of us, like myself, it takes us a little longer to heed that calling. You know it's your calling when you have such a passion to do it. It's all you think about. You can't wait to learn more about it. This passion drives you forward. When we listen and step into that calling, we are able to fulfill our purpose. I look out at each and every one of you, and I know that I am not the exception. I am not the oldest to graduate today. I am not the only single mom. I am not the only one with a master's degree. I am not the only one that at times suffered from imposter syndrome. I am not the only one that many times wanted to give up. I am not the only one who worried about paying my bills because I had to cut back at work in order to be successful in this program. And I know I'm not the only one who at times was my own worst critic. Many of us lost so much over the last 2 years. Some of you lost friendships and jobs. Some of you missed that 80% by 0.2 of a point, and you felt defeated. Some of you lost marriages. Some of you lost a parent. Some of you lost a grandparent that was more parent than grandparent. Some of you battled an illness and even cancer. Some even lost a child. And yet, we didn't give up on our dream. And that is courage. The last 2 years have not been all terrifying and sad, though. We've had some victories. Some of you got married. Some had children. Some got engaged. some sitting here are pregnant now. Some of us made lifelong friends. Some bought houses and puppies. Some finally realized your partner really is your biggest fan. A few of you came back after missing that 80% with vengeance. And every single one of us found out we are smart enough to be a nurse. And although being surrounded by determined, ambitious, and sincerely helpful peers made our goal of becoming a nurse a reality, the real masterminds behind our success is truly our faculty. The faculty that challenged us, prayed for us, stressed out over our grades probably more than we did, believe it or not. They taught us values that went far beyond care plans and NCLEX strategies. You, faculty, are the nurses that we aspire to be. I believe that those that can do, and those who inspire greatness teach. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to coach us, encourage us, at times having those coming to Jesus talks with us, and sometimes just letting us cry in your office. Thank you for holding us to the highest standards of excellence to make sure that we reached our full potential. So here's to our extraordinary class. Here's to our remarkable faculty. Here's to our tolerant loved ones who understood all the nursing lingo in this speech, because it's all we've talked about over the last 2 years. Here's to all the husbands, wives, boyfriends, and girlfriends who understood that we were tapped out emotionally, physically, and mentally, and didn't break up or divorce us because we acted psychotic at times. Here's to those of you who put our children to bed because we had late clinicals, who picked up sick children from school because we had class, who cooked dinners for us because we didn't have the time nor the energy, who celebrated our wins and mourned our losses. Here's to the friends who stayed true, who listened to our gross stories that we thought were amazing, who stepped in and shuttled our kids around town so they wouldn't feel the loss of a parent as acutely. Here's to the parents who went without so they could pay for your tuition and books and maybe occasionally your rent. Here's to all the coworkers who covered our shifts because we had to study for an exam and who quizzed us endlessly before tests. This degree would not have been possible without each and every one of you. Now, over the last 2 years, many of you have come to me for advice on how to handle situations, how to respond to peers or instructors, or just life. So class, as this is likely the last time at the same place at the same time, I'd like to share some advice I've learned in my life and while serving as your president. I hope you can apply this in your personal lives as well as your professional lives. Number 1, be kind. I know everyone says it, but not everyone does it. I know Sydney heard me say this a lot in clinical. Kill them with kindness. I know this is really hard, especially when they haven't been kind to you. But if all you do is show them love and kindness, they can't hold it against you. Number 2, be generous. Be generous of your time, your talents, but especially be generous in extending grace. Number 3, learn the power of forgiveness. This one is a hard one, especially if you've been deeply wounded. But I have learned that there is freedom in forgiveness. But also remember to forgive yourself. One of the hardest things to do is forgive those that have no intention of ever apologizing. Do it anyway. We've all heard, and this is for number 4, we've all heard the nurses, especially the older nurses, that eat their young. I heard about that when I first came into nursing, and the nurse bullying mentality. Now, I have 2 girls, one that's in 8th grade and one in 6th, and an ongoing dialogue in our home is how to navigate mean girls. And unfortunately, I've had to tell them, you're going to have to deal with this for the rest of your life. So I challenge you, as we go into a profession that is primarily women, let's change the narrative. So I challenge you to always encourage each other. Speak truth, but be kind in how you speak it. Cheer each other on. Celebrate the wins. Be vulnerable. Be trustworthy. And hold each other accountable. And number 5, this is the most important one, so listen up. If you are ever Miss Smith's nurse, remember, she intentionally holds her breath during the assessment to ensure that you are in fact counting her respirations. We took our first steps together, and on that very first day of nursing, we were strangers, not knowing what lay ahead of us. We have gained knowledge, lifelong friends, and some incredible memories together. We have always been told, if you didn't document it, you didn't do it. Well, now we've documented. So you know what that means, right? We did it. I invited this particular classmate to speak today because I wanted to celebrate and acknowledge this woman who embodies strength of not just her mind, but of spirit and character. She has faced challenges I pray that we will never have to endure. She also overcame a diagnosis that would have made many of us quit this program. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and fellow nurse, Cindy Tullier.
Thank you, Amy. I also wish to thank the faculty. Thank you for your unwavering dedication and passion to nursing and to education. Thank you for believing in us and guiding us as we turned our visions into achievements. To the family and friends, we thank you. Thank you so much for your patience and endless support. We are incredibly grateful to have had you by our side throughout this process. To the graduates, we made it. However difficult and challenging it has been, we made it. And I offer you all my sincerest congratulations. Although we navigated our individual paths, the journey was the same. The journey kept us moving toward the same goal. And it was the journey that connected us. I remember sitting in class on the very first day, feeling a mix of nervousness and anxiety. And I was sitting in the back of the room, looking around at all the other students. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm old enough to be their mother. But as days turned into weeks and classes turned into clinicals, we gained clinical partners, we completed projects and presentations, we met study buddies, and through all of this, we began making connections and forming those friendships. Even those like me who are typically introverted began to make those connections and friendships. The heart of nursing is compassion, caring, and commitment. Nursing friendships are like no other. Nursing school is hard. There are certain moments and experiences that only your nursing friends truly understand. Those moments when you're sitting alone, crying in your car, You call your friends, your nursing friends, because they truly understand how any moment can be hard. The founder of modern nursing, Florence Nightingale, once said, "Live life when you have it. Life is a splendid gift. There is nothing small about it." Nurses have a delicate perspective and understanding of how precious life is. No matter how big or small, always remember that you, nurses, have the power to make a difference in someone's life. With empathy and grace, we can help others. With just a few words or a simple touch, we can help others. This past summer, just before third semester, like the other students, I was looking forward to a nice long break from classes and time away from the books and the computer. I soaked up the sun at the beach for a week, started making up missed time with family and friends, and really planned to take full advantage of my summer break. But just a few weeks in, I received the devastating news that I had cancer. What was left of my summer vacation was spent undergoing lab work, receiving injections, having surgery, and forming treatment plans. I worked hard to get everything scheduled and done before classes resumed, determined that cancer was not going to stop me. I knew I would need to make the faculty aware, so I reached out to Mrs. Summers, my advisor, my friend. I told her my situation, and I said, "I'm not quitting. I am going to graduate." Her first words to me, "I'm so sorry. We're here for you." She and the other faculty extended such heartfelt compassion and genuine support. They embodied the very essence of nursing. I did return to class on time, just 4 days after my treatment started. While there were many days when I was tired and scared, I was not alone. While there were many days that I laughed, I also cried with students and with faculty. This past year has been full of text messages, emails, hallway hugs, all just to say, "We're here for you." That is what nursing is, and that is what nursing friendships look like. My story is not unlike the other students, whether you experienced joyous moments and celebrations or you were barely holding on. You were never alone. You made it. We all made it through together. So class of 2023, thank you for the memories and the connections that we made. I know each of you will make a difference and do great things because you already have. Where your journey takes you from here is up to you, but know that you have the support and love of your nursing family. I wish you luck and happiness. Thank you.
Our guest speaker is Dr. Prospero Corderiel. He is the Regional Medical Officer of Hospital Medicine Program at Lewis Scale here in Salem. He is a personal friend, and he was elected as our guest speaker among our cohort. The reason why he was elected was because many of the students here saw him during clinical. And I, for one, saw him during not only clinical, but during my preceptorship on 6 West. And every time we saw him on the floor, he always had a smile. He always acknowledged the nurses. And what he doesn't know is that the nurses hold him with such high regard one of the nurses, first semester, saw me talking with him, and they said, "Amy, how do you know Dr. C?" And I said, "Oh, I work at Frankie Rollins in Salem, and he's one of my favorite guests." And they said, "Oh, we just love him here." I'm like, "Why do you love him so much?" And they're like, "He sees us. He listens to us. Most doctors don't listen to the nurses, but he listens to us." I'm like, "Well, yeah, he's married to a nurse, and she's the boss." And he says that all the time. "My wife is the boss." And, but that is basically what sums up Dr. Corderial. He sees the nurses. He understands their value to the team. And I would just like to welcome him to speak to our graduation.
So, good morning. Amy, thank you for the introduction. And by the way, I'm very proud of you and proud of all of you guys. First, let me congratulate not only you guys made it, but also your faculty and your family who really supported you during your journey. So it is really an honor for me to be in front of you. Let me just tell you a little about myself, what inspired me and what got me to where I am right now. So I was born and raised in Dominican Republic, a beautiful tropical island with beautiful beaches and sand just like sugar. So you should go there at some point. I was inspired by my father. So he was a man that came from very, very humble beginnings. The town where he was born only had a teaching program to elementary school, so he had to move out of the town alone to be able to progress and pursue his goals. He became an engineer, and eventually he was the CEO of the electric company of our country. So he was a person that I was really proud of. He taught me about perseverance, honesty, and service. And these values really stuck on me for a long time. I still think about what I am and can only explain that through the fact that I was taught those values. So once I finished medical school, I faced the question of what goes further. At that time, the economy back home in the 80s was really bad. Actually, only 20% of the doctors had a means for transportation, either a motorcycle or a car. So it was really bad. So I had the opportunity, from which I was blessed, to come to the United States, learn English, which I'm still trying to learn too, and study for my boards. And again, I'm lucky that I was able to do that, but it was a journey to leave your family, to learn a different language, and to pretty much relearn medicine. The medicine that we went through was a tropical medicine, very different than what we do have right now. But I persevered. I'm here. I passed my boards. And then I went to St. Louis, where I became an internist and infectious diseases doctor. Promptly enough, I learned that my passion was hospitals. I like to be in hospitals. I don't like to be in clinics. So I found an opportunity in Tampa, and we put together a hospitalist program there. In fact, it was the first hospitalist program in the town. And I'm proud to be part of that initiation. A lot of learn, a lot of challenges that we had there. And one thing I tell you right now, the only constant in life is changes. And if you don't accommodate to those changes and be receptive to those changes, you might have trouble progressing. So remember that. Soon enough, then we'll learn how to manage the resources of our patients. And our business was all about keeping patients healthy. We made money keeping patients healthy. What a great thing to do, huh? So one of the things that we learned there was patient satisfaction, how important that is. And the truth is, if they're not satisfied with your services, they're not going to trust you and they're not going to be compliant with you. So have always that in mind. Once we had all our processes put together and things became a little easier for us, I inquired into hospitals again. And I buried myself into the hospitals in general. I learned through all the committees. I learned about all the quality metrics and the significance of taking care of communities rather than just a patient here and there. That became my passion at that time. So I learned how to influence other practitioners to be able to satisfy the quality metrics and became a chief medical officer. So that's how I ended up here. As of right now, I'm the regional medical officer of the HM program of Louis Gale Market. And by the way, that has become my home, and I'm proud to say that I'm part of that community. So now let me just talk a little about yourself, guys. You already made it, you're nurses, so again, congratulations. And it's very likely that if you made it through that, you're going to be able to make it through anything. So be proud and allow the word to be intimidated because of how unstoppable you really are. You guys are already successful. But remember this, successful people have fears, they have doubts, and they have worries. They are people, they're human beings. But they just don't let these feelings stop them. And that's why you guys are successful. If there's something that I want you to take home is you need to learn the art of communication. You need to learn how to communicate with your patients, your peers, your doctors, your charge nurse. You need to make sure they understand and know your knowledge, which will increase your trust and compliance in front of the patients. Tell them about your passion, the love you have for what you do, your desires to service, your optimism. So tonight when you get home after such a great day, think about yourself, go deep into yourself and find your values. Find what is it that drives you, which is what is it that prompts you to face your problems and continue going. Once you know that, communicate that so people get to know you and people know what to expect from you. I believe that this is the most important thing to be able to communicate yourself appropriately. I'm all about God, family, service, and honor. That's what drives me. So trust yourself. You really know way more than what you think you do know. Now let's talk a little about the reason why you guys are here, which is your patients. Imagine your kids when they're trying to walk, how you hold them, how vulnerable they are. So that's what your patients are. I want you to remember them or look at them the way you look at your family, your parents, brothers, sisters, children, the way you would like others to look at yourself if you are in that bed as a sick person. Think about that all the time because I tell you, through time, we tend to become a little insensitive to pain and a little insensitive to our patients because we see that every day. But remember that they could be one of you. Protect them, advocate for them, be always on the look, and get involved with them and their family. It is okay to hold their hands. So when you guys decided to become nurses, you made obviously the most important decision of your life. You chose to dedicate yourself to care for those patients. You treat a disease and you can either win or lose. That's nature, despite of how much you put into this. You treat a person, and I guarantee you that you win. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. So fill your mind with truth, fill your heart with love, and fill your life with service. Now let me tell you how I see you as nurses. And by the way, one of my secrets is the fact that I married to a nurse. I need you and I count on you. You're my eyes and you are my ears on my absence. And trust me, you're going to be there for me. I'm not going to be there. We trust you and appreciate everything you do. One of the things that I like the most is to see a nurse following me while I go inside my patient's room. So once I finish my intervention, I always ask that nurse, is there anything I can help you with? And I finalize telling them, if you have a question, please contact me. I will be available. So questions, guys. It is your obligation to formulate questions when you don't understand what's going on with your patient. In order to be able to understand the disease process, you need to have those questions answered. So remember that a question is never ridiculous or unnecessary. That is what we expect from you. So follow the answers to this. So finally, again, talking about questioning, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Albert Einstein. The most important thing is not to stop questioning. And remember, when you look good in front of your patients, we look good too. So, again, it was a pleasure talking to you. I congratulate you again. I wish you the best. Good luck, and God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, my turn. As I listened to Amy and Cindy and everyone speak, I thought, wow, I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I don't have any papers. I don't have anything up here. I just want to talk to you guys. All right? So, but first, before we start down this journey, I think we need to take a few minutes, and I hope you all will bear with me and stand and turn around and face your family members, your loved ones, your significant others, and say, without you, I may not be here. So would you guys stand and just say, hey guys, thank you for bearing with me for 2 years, for helping me for 2 years. They were your support. They were right there behind you. We were in front, but they were behind, right? They were there with you all the way, just like your faculty was. And now, as we start down this journey, I want you to think of something. A family, I want you to think of this. They have stored in their head 4 semesters of so much knowledge and information. Their heads are about to explode. All right? 4 semesters. Now stop, guys. 4 semesters. And you have all that nursing knowledge and curriculum in your head. 4. Wow. Isn't that a wow? That's a wow moment. Just 4 semesters. And you got it all in there. All right, so let's start down that journey. Let's go back, as some of them said, and Amy introduced this thought. For most of us, it was June of 21, right? June of 21, they sat in an orientation with a manual like this, right? And they had to read it from front to back. And in that manual told them everything they were to do or not to do. How to dress, how not to dress, what to do with your phone, how to take pictures, how to do Castlebrandt, get your screenings, get all this done before you come to clinical. You have to have this done. Attendance policy. I could go on and on and on. Test remediation, Kaplan. You have to do this to progress. This is what we do. This is the scoring scale. They sat there in June, and you could see their eyes going, What have I got myself into? I think that was Amy's words. What did I get myself into? And then there were some who walked out, piece of cake, we got this, no problem. Then the first day of class started in August. 4 classes, most of us, 4 classes in August. From health assessments where you had to learn everything from the head to the toe, where they had to learn how to assess every body part, where they had to learn how to talk to people, take histories, blood pressures, pulses, bowel sounds, you name it, toenails, everything. Head to toe they had to learn. And at the end of the semester, they had to get up and do a head-to-toe assessment to pass the course. Now, that head-to-toe assessment wasn't just for that course. It followed them every semester. It even followed them into Sim Lab, right? Right, guys? Then they had to learn legal terms. They had to learn advanced directives and nursing statutes and all these A&A rules and regulations and evidence-based practice. What does all this mean? And then they went on into lab, where they had to learn skills. And you have to do it this way. Get your manual out this way. Step 1, step 2. Not step 1, step 3. Step 1, step 2. Every skill from bathing a patient to moving a patient, transferring, walking, all the way to NG tubes, every skill imagined, they had to learn in that semester and demonstrate it and get checked off in it. And then the dreaded med math started, where they had to learn how to dispense meds. How are we going to give these meds? What's the process? What's the 10 rules of right medication administration? On and on. And that followed them every semester too, right, guys? Every semester they had a med math quiz at the beginning of each semester. Now, what is the formula, guys? We will never forget that, right? So that's the formula that takes them everywhere they want to go with medications. And then there was TTEs and TTEs on test day. Oh, that was a horrible thing. We had to do TTEs on test day, and we had to have lecture after tests. And then we had Prep U masteries, and all those masteries we had to do, all those chapters. And as Amy said, questions where I know all those answers are right, but the faculty keeps saying, but there's only one correct answer. Read the question again. What is the question asking you? Over and over, we preach those comments to the students. Read that question again. What is it asking? And that followed you every semester, all the way through, even to this week in your Kaplan reviews. So you got a little break at Christmas and you moved on. You came back in January, not too tired, and you started over again with med math. Oh, here we go, first thing. Then we move on into your favorite test. I know it was your favorite test. What was it? Fluid and electrolytes, their favorite subject. Fluid and electrolytes, that first test that they all bomb, all right? And then that carries you on through that semester into the next semester. And then, because you can't forget, what is this? What is this? What is this? All right, every one of those, you must carry it on and through every semester. You can't forget that knowledge. So we kept building knowledge. We built knowledge all through that semester, second semester. We talked about community health. They learned about windshield projects. They learned about how to promote health in communities and clients. They learned diseases, and those diseases kept moving them on, adding more to that knowledge base. And they got to take a break in the summer. And then summer came, and they got emails from the school going, well, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and get this ready, and get this ready. And hey, by the way, here's your math problems to be ready for the first day of class when you come back in August. So there was that med math again. And then there was simulation, where you had to know how to do your head to toes and how to do your meds and what does evidence-based practice mean. And this is where the good, the bad, and the ugly come out. And and then the case studies and the knowledge they gained kept building and adding. They couldn't forget what they lost in first and second semester, right? We had to keep adding to those diseases and those complex problems that patients have. Patients don't have just one problem like diabetes, they have several. So they had to remember first and second semester and carry it on. Then they were really introduced to Kaplan and comparing themselves to standardized tests and national norms and where they should be and what's the key word with Kaplan? Oh, you heard it. Say it louder. Remediation. They learned the word remediation. What does it mean and what should I do? And that carried them on through third semester with some role playing and humor. It wasn't all hard, was it? Wasn't there some fun laughter in third semester with some role playing and humor and people up in front of the room having to pretend, right? Then you got another little break and we're back to fourth semester. Whew. And now they have a Kaplan every week. Now they have remediation papers due every other week. And now they're adding more complexity to their patient problems. Now they're into critical care issues and patients with serious problems, life and death issues. But they didn't forget first and second semester, nor third. They just kept adding that knowledge more and more into their heads. And finally, they are the graduates sitting here. And as they went into their Kaplan this week, I got to sit in on a couple of their sessions, and I was so proud to listen to the way they would answer those hard questions that they first were exposed to in that August, September of 21. Those questions, they were sitting there answering for this Kaplan resource seminar instructor, and she was very proud of them too. She goes, wow, listen at you guys. You can reason. You can do critical thinking. You're thinking like a nurse. Wow. And she kept educating them and promoting them and saying, you've got this, you got this. And one of the best things I think they got to experience this year is they got to really watch nurses in their preceptorship. So that fourth semester when they got to go into their clinical experience, they were with a nurse. Not just a clinical instructor, but they were with a nurse who was working whatever shift, doing whatever duties and responsibilities. And now they had to start thinking like a nurse. They had to pull out those critical thinking skills that they were building. And they demonstrated that with the Kaplan seminar. She threw out some hard questions, and they were able to sit there and analyze, is that an assessment? Is that an implementation? No, it's not a psych. Let's put that over there. All right, let's go over here. So they were able to do that during that time frame, those 3 days. So they're getting well prepared for the big test that comes. We've got one more big test, right? We've got an NCLEX study plan, right? We've got one more challenge. All right, so now to the seriousness of everything. As you look around at each other, scan each other, look to your left, look to your right. You guys are the next generation of nurses. Do you realize that? You are taking the next gen test, but you're also the next generation of nurses. Look at your faculty. You know, we've been there. A friend of mine who's sitting in the back, called me this morning and said, wow, I got pinned 30 years ago. And I was like, oh no, I got pinned 45 years ago. And I sat there for a few minutes and I thought, well, glad she called me. That was a coincidence. It made me realize 45 years ago, I sat and had my pinning ceremony. So as you guys look around the faculty and look at yourselves, you are the next generation of nurses coming up. It's going to be up to you to do a couple of things, and I hope that you will. So in 6 months to a year, when you feel comfortable out working and a student nurse walks on the floor, I hope you will remember the first day that you were a student nurse walking on the floor. I hope you will remember back to that first IV stick when your hands were going like this when you were trying to start that IV, or the first time you're in the med room trying to draw up that syringe and your instructor's going, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." Or when you're trying to give that first injection and your hand's going like this and she goes, "You've got it, you got it." Remember your days when you started that first procedure, or how many times it took you to put on a pair of sterile gloves, or how many times you contaminated that Foley kit in the sim lab. So think about that student nurse and think about what you can do for that next generation of nurses. You'll be there to help them. I want you to realize, too, that your education never stops. I mean, look up here. We've nurses with their doctorate, all right? Nursing education never stops. Technologies, medication, treatments, it's never going to change. So we're always going to be learning. And I hope many of you will go on and see the need to go on in your education. And I hope someday you all will see the need to be a clinical instructor to help that next generation of nurses. And then to go on even further and say, maybe I want to be faculty. Maybe I want to help that next generation of nurses coming on. I want to teach them. I want to be there for them and help them. So when they carry on, they can pass on that knowledge to that next generation of nurses. Because we need future nurses. We will need future educators. We need nurses to teach other nurses, right? So think about that over the next couple of years. Where do you want to be, and how do you want to help that next generation of nurses? All right? Good luck. Thank you. It's been a fun 2 years.
I'm honored to present this year's Spirit of Nursing Award. The award recognizes a senior nursing student in the Associate Nursing program at Virginia Western Community College. Any faculty can nominate a student. The nominations are then reviewed, and one winner is chosen. The award recognizes a student who is gifted in the balance of art and science of nursing. The student has successfully assumed the role of a nurse through characteristics of skill, compassion, dedication to the ideals of the nursing profession. The student may excel in interpersonal skills through effective communication, collaboration, and teamwork. This year's winner has displayed excellent didactic outcomes throughout their nursing student career, by asking insightful questions and sharing knowledge learned. The student is prompt, reliable, and available. The student combines emotional and technical intelligence in the delivery of care. The student is able to use their qualities of positivity, a sense of humor, urgency, efficiency, humbleness, and reliability when the situation calls for it. They are a role model for other students, oftentimes volunteering to help other students and use creative ways to be successful. This student carries themselves with maturity, knowledge needed to care for patients while being an asset to the team. I'm guessing you all want to know who this person is. I could ramble on, but on behalf of the nursing faculty at Virginia Western, I proudly present to you the winner of this year's award for the Spirit of Nursing, Lacey Krusenberger. Lacey, please come up to the stage to receive your award.
Congratulations, Lacey. It's good to be back. I've been in hibernation for about 3 months, but I'm back. I wouldn't have missed this for anything, so congratulations, everybody. My name's Darla Summers, and I am, teaching faculty for primarily the second-year nursing students, and I have the privilege, and I say privilege, teaching these students and working alongside them every day, nagging them, as they would say. This sort of stuff gets me excited because you see how hard the students work, and to be able to award such award is beyond humbling for us. We initiated the Compassion Award a few years ago because having compassion is vital to the nursing profession, particularly when no one is looking. You would think it comes naturally, but it doesn't always. Delvani et al. States compassion is a virtue and a necessary trait of nursing and being a nurse. It is a feeling invoked by witnessing others' pain that leads to taking measures to help them. This award recognizes a student who demonstrates compassion through empathy, active listening, and provides patients with the comfort of support through their actions. The student demonstrates a sympathetic awareness of their patient's distress and has an innate desire to want to alleviate their pain and or suffering. So we actually will have 2 individuals that will receive this award. First, I am going to speak about our honorable mention student. This individual came to our nursing program with no healthcare background. No healthcare background. And this individual came back. Can you believe it? She came in determined to succeed. Doesn't mean that there wasn't struggles, tears or time of distraught, but to see her in action with patients was humbling. I knew I could give her complex patients in clinical because even though she doubted herself, I knew she would do well. Her inability to interact with patients just came naturally. A specific time when she was caring for a patient with a stroke who had other complex comorbidities. The patient was in significant pain, and physicians were stumbled by her prognosis. I found this student distraught in the hallway, and I asked her, "What is the matter?" And she simply said, "I am upset because I can't take my patient's pain away. I can't fix it," she said. As tears streamed down her face, as they are now, I reminded this individual all the things that she was able to do for this patient. She repositioned her multiple times an hour, waited on her hand and foot, kept her and her husband abreast of her care, sat beside her bedside just to keep her company, and advocated for her care to the physician. She ran through the hallways frantically because she was trying to find just the right amount of pillows and pillowcases for the patient so she could get the patient in just the right position. She didn't have to do that, but she did because she demonstrated true compassion during a difficult situation. She did this without direction or prompting. She did it because that is what nurses do. Without further ado, please help me in giving Paige Coltron a big round of applause for honorable mention. All right, next is a student who came to the program with extensive healthcare background already, but was determined to bridge to get her RN degree. This individual comes with experience in a mother hen approach, not only to her nursing colleagues, but to her patients as well. Her witty sense of humor and transparency never seemed to fail her in her nursing care. She is kind, constantly thinks of others, and is quite humorous without meaning to be. Let me emphasize, quite humorous without meaning to be. She is very observant, quiet at times, provides patients with comfort through her actions. She has dedicated a vast portion of her life serving her community in various ways and gives back without expecting anything. She takes care of all patients without judgment and adjusts her approach according to the patient's needs. She treats everyone with respect. A specific example would be the time she was assigned a patient who struggled with a substance use disorder, who required extensive dressing changes. She treated the patient without judgment and worked on the patient's timeline to ensure the patient got the care that she needed. She managed her time to guarantee the patient's care would be provided at a very specific time. And anybody that's taking care of patients, that is very important to them, and some more than others. She earned the patient's trust when other healthcare professionals could not. She demonstrated sympathetic awareness of the patient's distress when others did not. The student was empathetic and demonstrated true compassion. Without further ado, please help me in giving Miss Jennifer Rizzo a big round of applause for the Compassion Award.
Okay, it is time to pen. We are ready. All right, if I could have row 1 of penners and graduates come to the first staircase. Miss Jill Frayne, could I have you pass out lamps? Pass out lamps as they come off. Okay, and if there's additional family members that are lining up with the penners, this is the time. And we're going to start with Miss Olivia Barker. Miss Olivia Barker is being penned by Vicki Johnson. You're going to come right to the X. Again, Miss Olivia Barker is penned by Vicki Johnson. Next, we have Mr. Zechariah Bennett, penned by Deanna Bennett. Zach, you're going to come right to the X. Perfect. Zechariah Bennett, penned by Deanna Bennett. Zach, stand here and face the camera. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Next, we have Miss Melissa Bittner, penned by Taylor Bittner. Beautiful. Again, Melissa Bittner, penned by Taylor Bittner. Thank you. Next, we have Elijah Boyer, and he'll be penned by Leanne Boyer. Perfect. Elijah Boyer, penned by Leanne Boyer. Thank you. Next, we have Alexandra Bridges, and she'll be penned by Jared Bridges. Alexandra Bridges, penned by Jared Bridges. Thank you. Next, we have Taylor Campbell. Taylor will be penned by Kenny Campbell. Coming to the next. And this is Taylor Campbell, penned by Kenny Campbell. Thank you. Next, we have Paige Coltrane, penned by Paula Coltrane. Perfect. Paige Coltrane, penned by Paula Coltrane. Thank you. Next, we have Anna Contreras, who will be penned by Vitali Mendel. This is Anna Contreras, penned by Vitali Mendel. I really love it when the guys help with the hair. Love that. Thank you. And next we have Alexandra Decker, penned by Natalie Spears. Alexandra Decker, penned by Natalie Spears. Thank you. Next, we have Amy Dickinson, penned by Jordan Sorensen. Amy Dickinson, penned by Jordan Sorensen. Beautiful, thank you. Next is Sydney Dillon. And Sydney Dillon will be penned by Trenda Turner. Oh. Sydney Dillon, penned by Trenda Turner. Next is Tiffany Epperly. Tiffany will be penned by Adrian Epperly. Again, this is Tiffany Epperly and penned by Adrian Epperly. Very nice. Next, we have Carl Estep, who will be penned by Heidi Estep. Oh. Oh. So Carl Estep, penned by Heidi Estep. Thank you. And then Taylor Foss. Taylor Foss, penned by Ryan Harlow. Perfect. Taylor Foss, again, penned by Ryan Harlow. And that completes our first row. Second row, if you could please stand, penners and graduates, come to this first set of stairs on either sides. If you are extended family or friend also joining, this is when you join your penner. Okay, first up, Miss Brianna Garcia Lopez will be penned by Camila Garcia Lopez. I know she practiced. Okay. Perfect. Again, Brianna Garcia Lopez, penned by Camila Garcia Lopez. Next, we have Renee Goss, who will be penned by Debbie Nance. We're going to go right to the X. Again, this is Renee Goss, penned by Debbie Nance. Thank you. Next, we have Haven Henry, penned by Judy Mullins. Again, this is Haven Henry, being penned by Judy Mullins. Thank you. Next, we have Ashley Jenkins, who will be penned by Betty Mitchell. Lovely. Again, this is Ashley Jenkins, penned by Betty Mitchell. Next, we have Bethany Kellum. And Bethany Kellum was also our treasurer for the nursing club. Bethany is penned by Holly Kellum. Again, we have Bethany Kellum being penned by Holly Kellum. Next is Jessica Kimball. Jessica will be penned by Teresa Williams. Again, Jessica Kimball, penned by Teresa Williams. Next up, we have Rachel Kennerly, penned by Mark Kennerly. Very good. Again, Rachel Kennerly, penned by Mark. Next up, we have Lacey Crutchberger, penned by Michael Crutchberger. Perfect. Again, Lacey Crutchberger, penned by Michael. Next up, Malia Lafon will be penned by Angie Walker. Perfect. Again, this is Malia Lafon, penned by Angie Walker. Thank you. Next up, we have Miss Carrie Lawson, penned by Stephanie Cook. Again, this is Carrie Lawson being penned by Stephanie Cook. Thank you. Next up is Dana Lester. Dana will be penned by Chase Lester. Again, this is Dana Lester, penned by Chase Lester. Thank you. David Loftus is up next. Sorry, David. David Loftus, penned by Robin Davies. Perfect. Again, this is David Loftus, penned by Robin Davies. Next, we have Bren Mullins. Bren will be penned by Galen Worley. Lovely. Again, Bren Mullins, penned by Galen Worley. Next, Miss Brittany Myers will be penned by Kylo Stover. Oh. Brittany Myers, penned by Kylo Stover. And then Cassandra Nichols. Cassandra will be penned by Nicholas. Cassandra Nicholas will be penned by Ryan Nicholas. Lovely. Cassandra Nicholas, penned by Ryan Nicholas. Thank you, row 2. Okay, we are ready for row 3. So if you're in row 3, if you could please stand, penners and graduates, and come to the staircase. If you are family, additional penners, come to the penning side, please. Okay, we are ready to start. Miss Jessica O'Neill will be penned by Doug O'Neill. Oh. Again, Jessica O'Neill, penned by Doug O'Neill. Next, we have Caitlin Pereira, penned by Alicia Pereira. Oh. Again, this is Caitlin Pereira, penned by Alicia. Next up is Megan Reed. Megan will be penned by Jacqueline Dooley. Perfect. Megan Reed, penned by Jacqueline Dooley. Next is Jennifer Ryder. Jennifer will be penned by Daniel Ryder. Jennifer Ryder, penned by Daniel Ryder. Next is Jennifer Rizzo. Jennifer Rizzo will be penned by John Rizzo. Jennifer Rizzo, penned by John. Next is Miss Anya Robbins, will be penned by Holly Robbins. Anya Robbins, being penned by Holly Robbins. Next is Miss Lauren Timbo. Lauren will be penned by Mark Timbo. Aww. Lauren Timbo, penned by Mark Timbo. Next, we have Cindy Tuller. Cindy Tuller will be penned by Jason Tuller. Again, this is Cindy Tuller, penned by Jason Tuller. Next is Lee Vaughn. Lee will be penned by Isaac Vaughn. Again, Lee Vaughn, penned by Isaac Vaughn. And then last but not least is Destiny Ray, who will be penned by Todd Wilson and the girls. Perfect. So Destiny Ray, penned by Todd Wilson. I hear a phone like it's on stage, but not quite. Okay. We are going to do this next part. So graduates, can everybody turn their lamp on? Okay. And we'll ask you to stand while the pledge and the prayer are read.
Family, friends, graduates, please recognize that the nursing pledge is a rite of passage into the nursing practice. Graduates, please recite with me our pledge. I solemnly pledge myself before my peers and in the presence of this assembly to practice my profession faithfully and to the best of my ability. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession and will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping and all family affairs. Coming to my knowledge in the presence of my calling. With loyalty, will I endeavor to aid the healthcare team in their work and devote myself to the welfare of those committed to my care. Congratulations, you have entered the profession of nursing.
And if you look above that is the nurse's prayer. A nurse's prayer. Let me dedicate my life today to the care of those who come my way. Let me touch each one with a healing hand and the gentle art for which I stand. And then tonight, when day is done, oh, let me rest in peace if I helped just one. Congratulations.
Okay. Will the graduates please hold your lamps and turn very carefully towards the audience? Facing the audience, I present to you the class of 2023 nurse graduates. Graduates, you can very carefully stow your lamps under your chair, as carefully as possible. Okay, so this is where the crossover is complete. At this time, the graduates, and if the audience could rise, we're going to start the recessional music. The graduates will now lead us back to the back of this room. That concludes our program, and then once we're all to the back, we'll disperse again. There's 2 areas where family can take pictures. There's one at the very back of this hall and over here in front of this backdrop if there's still additional family shots that need to be done. So we're ready to cue the music. Okay, Olivia. Congratulations to the class of 23.